own show prep. So, so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy, ha ha. It's a 6-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name, yo. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6-ring Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Sorry, guys. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night. Welcome back to the 6 Rings Kane Show. This is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. This is it's Cotton Bowl week. It's game week again. Who thought we'd be saying that on December 29th, 2025? It is once again game week as Miami is
Vish did.
I know.
I think Jazz and I had us winning enough to be in the playoffs.
I think we did.
Jazz only picked one loss, which was the Louisville, which actually ended up being correct. So, so that's still playoff worthy, obviously. But
Miami is on their way to. They are in Texas already. They are on their way to face Ohio State Buckeyes in the quarterfinals. Cotton Bowl of the college football playoffs. This is a vengeance game. This is not I mean, it is a payback game, although Miami did play Ohio State in 2011, 2013. What was it?
Played them multiple times. Played them
after the game. Yeah. But one only counted because the other one was the loss actually got stripped from Ohio State because of the Terrell Pryor stuff. Right,
yeah,
but which would be illegal by today's standards. So
yeah, that was one of the vacated wins. But I mean,
hey,
sure as hell felt like a loss at the times.
I'm kidding. We came back and we beat them a couple years later. I think it was 24-6. I remember that game very vividly. And but still, this one feels different, right? Those are regular season games. This is a playoff game against a team where 24 years ago, more or less, right, or give or take.
23.
Is it 23? There you go. 23. Mm-hmm. That's right. It was 2003. 23 years ago, Miami, for lack of a better expression, was robbed in the national championship game. And I know we could probably go all night talking about that game and that scenario. But we're not here to do that. We're here to move forward with the ass whooping that we're going to give the Ohio State Buckeyes this time around in the Cotton Bowl in just 2 days' time. Miami goes into this game with, hey, listen, a lot of confidence after that Texas A&M win, a big win against a really tough defense, a really good game, a really good team. And now they go on and they face, what some people have ranked as the number 2 team in the country. Another team with potentially the best defense in the country, as some may say. I would probably say the best defensive scheme with Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator. But look, I know it's kind of cliche to say at this point, but they haven't faced a team like the Miami Hurricanes defense this year. Give credit to Indiana, and Indiana played a hell of a game when they beat them in the Big Ten championship. But this Miami team has they're firing on all cylinders right now when it comes to playing on defense. On offense, they got to clean some things up, and they'll be okay, right? And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. We'll kind of get into everything Miami, Ohio State. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to our sponsor real quick. As you guys know by now, it's 305-800-PAIN. After an accident, every minute counts. With one call to 305-800-PAIN, you get immediate access to trusted doctors and attorneys who guide you step by step. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, they are a brand you can trust. Much like 5 Reasons Canes, 305-800-PAIN is focused on the local community of Miami-Dade County and South Florida. They'll handle all your accident needs, including car accidents, personal injuries, and related legal matters. So after an accident, be sure to call 305-800-PAIN. The number is the brand, 305-800-PAIN. Después de un accidente, cada minuto cuenta. Con una llamada 305-800-PAIN, ustedes pueden obtener acceso inmediatamente a doctores y abogados para ayudar con todo el proceso. Con una clasificación del A+ del Better Business Bureau, pueden confiar en ellos. 305-800-PAIN tiene mucho en común con 5 Reasons Canes. Están enfocados en las comunidades locales de Miami-Dade County y Florida del Sur. Ellos pueden ayudar con todo después de un accidente, incluyendo accidentes de carro, lesiones personales y otras cosas legales relacionadas. Entonces, después de un accidente, llama a 305-800-PAIN. El número es el nombre de la marca, 305-800-PAIN. Let's get right into it, Vish. I want to start off with you, man. You're going to be at the game. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. But I will be listening on my brand new surround sound from my Christmas gift that they gave me. Very excited about that. I'm going to drive everybody in the neighborhood crazy, and I don't care. But I want to start off with you, man. How are you feeling about this game heading into the biggest game in 23 years for the Miami Hurricanes? This one feels different, right, Vish?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably it's a playoff game, but the playoffs have expanded. So, I mean, that ACC championship game that Clemson blew the Canes out, and if the Canes had won that, they would have been in the 14 playoffs. So that was kind of a quarterfinal game. But yeah, this is one of the bigger ones, and obviously, you can trace the downfall of this program back to a flag against this particular team, as you said, 23 years ago. So there's a lot of kind of intersecting points here. I feel good about it. I think the team is focused. I don't think the stage will be too big for them, despite this kind of, that, as we said, certainly the biggest game since Mario's been here. And, that one season was kind of an oasis in the desert, 2017, where the Canes were, playing games with actual stakes at the end of the season. But other than that, yeah, it has been, 2005, and wore that weird one sleeve jersey and lost to Georgia Tech was probably the last time that they were in a national conversation and playing a big game late in the season. So yeah, there's a little bit of this is a little bit of newness, and it's exciting.
The Sun Bowl when it was 12 degrees in Texas and El Paso wasn't a big game for you? Come on.
Yeah, I did learn that snows in El Paso though. So that was news to me. But yeah, it's a little bit of a difference. I don't think they'll be overwhelmed by it. Mario's very businesslike. You could tell today in the press conference he just wanted to kind of get through. He doesn't really like doing that stuff anyway. But it'll be a good time. I mean, it's kind of opposite for both programs, right? Ohio State's been playing these games annually. Obviously, they're defending champions, but even when they don't win it, they're always, in the playoffs or on the cusp of it, and just. It's something that's kind of normal for them, and for us, it's got a new feeling to it. So it's kind of a little bit of a dichotomy. But I feel good about it. We'll see. We'll see. All right. See on Wednesday.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm glad that you brought up that point, and I'll push it to you, Blue, really quick on that. This is something that's somewhere where I think a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, this is something that Ohio State is used to," and they're going to come in here business as usual, and they're used to the big stage and the big lights. And Miami's coming in. This is the first time in the college football playoffs, and they're playing really well. They're playing great defense, but are the lights too big? And obviously you mentioned Vish, so we don't, I don't think so either. I don't think the lights are too big for this team, considering the leadership that's on this team, the guys that are playing, and our coaches.
Well, I will say the position that's most in the spotlight is the quarterback, who has plenty of experience playing in these types of games.
He's got 2 rings. He didn't start on those teams, but he still got 2 championship rings.
But he's got like 40-something starts in college and has played in, playoff caliber games, SEC championship games. He's played on the road in a bunch of big spots. So, like, the one position that's most under the microscope, does have a lot of experience in these games.
Well, it's funny because I always kind of turn it around and twist it and say, hey, that could definitely be – maybe that's an advantage to Miami, right? Maybe this team kind of go through the motions a little bit because they've been here before. Maybe Miami catches them slipping a little bit, whether it's through the whole game or maybe at the beginning. And they take a lead, or they kind of go after them and slap them around they punch them in the mouth, and Ohio State's not ready for it, or Ohio State is not, for some reason they get off to a lazy start because of that. I mean, those are always kind of things that I think about and say, hey, maybe this team is fired up and ready to go, and they can punch them in the mouth. And this is not a Miami team that punches in the mouth and then kind of lays down, right? This is a Miami team that's going to go after you, pin their ears back on defense, and try to dominate you, Blue. But this is a real big game. You've been around for quite a bit with Miami, all throughout the 80s and 90s, 2000s. Every national championship you've basically seen and been a part of. This is a big game for the Hurricanes, biggest one in the last 23 years, as I mentioned already. How do you feel about this game going into into Arlington and facing this Ohio State team, a very good team, but a team that I think Miami matches up pretty well with, has an opportunity to make a statement here as well. What's your take on this?
Well, I'm going to start off by using my Kirk Cignetti thing. This football team has never played in a game like this before. The Hurricane fans have been in these games before. A lot of the coaches have been in games like this, but this current football program's never been in a situation like this before. In fact, last week's game was the biggest this team has played in 20-some years, and they passed that with flying colors in an environment that's not going to be close to this week. I mean, they had 104,000 fans, 197 which were against them. I don't think that there's going to be a 99% Ohio State crowd. I think there's a lot of people that don't like Ohio State that live in Texas. I think that Miami has a lot of fans that they've accumulated throughout the years in Texas, and I think they're going to have really good fan support, led by our fearless leader, Vish, and his traveling party that are going to go out and have a good time. The only thing the only thing that worries me that Miami, it doesn't worry me because Ohio State has everything to lose, every single thing to lose. They're the highest going into any of the bowls. They're the highest favorite, 9 points or whatever it was. What is that? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? I don't know. But
last I saw was 9.5.
9.5 point favorites. They're defending national champions. They're playing a team that, that people don't realize if you weren't at Texas A&M. And I talked to my good friend Josh Darrow, who said, I don't think that there was enough emphasis put on the fact that there was a 28-mile-an-hour swirling wind the entire game. So it really neutralized the passing game in such a great way that every time that a Carson Beck would go back to throw, a lot of his passes that usually are on line would be thrown down by the wind. So I think that Miami needs to go out there and play really mistake football. They can't afford to get behind, because you get behind by 14 points against Ohio State, and it'll be 21, it'll be 28, and they'll start running away because they've got the athletes to do it. Miami has to sting them and make them think a little bit. Make some hits, even when they get, receptions or when they get runs that are of 10, 20, 30 yards, they got to sting them a little bit afterwards. They can't put their heads down. In fact, Miami's got to play mistake-free football as much as they can in this game. But that being said, from a talent standpoint, I think Miami on both sides of the ball has enough playmakers, to to play with this football team. And I'm not minimizing what Ohio State, is, because they're a really good football team. I look up and down, offensive line, defensive line, secondary wise, great receivers, quarterback that's got inexperience, not a lot of experience, but he's played in 12 games now. So he's got a little bit of experience, more so than that if this was his first start. And plus he has playmakers around him, and that has a whole lot to do. Even if somebody like Carson Beck is not having a great day, to have a Malachi Tony to grab one, out of the backfield and run 54 yards with it, kind of makes the quarterback look a lot better. So not to say that Sayan's not a really good quarterback, because he is, but he's just a dude, that has a lot of people. You put him on Marshall, and the kid will be a 6-5 quarterback, and that's just the way it is. He's got a lot of people around him. But my take, going into this game is Miami's got to come from the beginning and play mistake-free ball. And if they fall behind, let's not get your heads down. Understand that you have the weapons to come back. You have the playmakers to make plays. Don't let this thing get away. And that's the whole thing. And remember, there's going to be a lot of drunk people on New Year's Eve that are going to just be having a great time watching this game. And
including me. Maybe not there, but including me.
Yeah, including you and Jazz. And I think that you remember, this is a standalone game. This isn't a 12 o'clock start like the Orange Bowl, or 4 o'clock deal coming up with the Rose Bowl and then having the Sugar Bowl. This is the only thing happening on that night besides the ball drop. And so everybody's gearing their evening around this one game. And I think if this thing goes to distance and it goes the 15 rounds that it should, it's going to be one hell of a New Year's Eve. And hopefully right after we play this game and win this thing right before the ball drops. And but it's going to be interesting. But again, I'm not losing sight of the fact that Ohio State's a great football team. They're a great football team. But Miami's got the weapons to kind of neutralize things. And that's just my take.
Very well put, Blue. And I kind of agree with you. I think that Miami has the opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, to, punch them in the mouth and get something going. And then I just think they have to continue to fight, to play hard, just as hard, if not harder, than what they played last week against Texas A&M, which was a tough game, man. That was tough, and you can tell that they went out there and they just gave it all. And you're going to see the same, this week. I think the difference is that, you mentioned it, Blue, right? This team, if they get down by a little bit, they've got the mental fortitude, as some would say, right? They've got that it factor. They've got the cojones, right, to strap it up and go and keep going after people, not quit, not give up. You saw that all this year, and even some last year, where they were, where they had some issues, or they got down, or they threw an interception, or they had a bad play. Perfect example, actually, was the fumble by Malachi Tony, right, against Texas A&M. They could have easily just shit the bed right there and let Texas A&M come down, score a touchdown, and that was it. It would have been game over. No, man, that defense buckled down and gave the ball right back to the Canes, and we went down there and we scored that touchdown. So, I think that Miami, as you mentioned, has an opportunity here. Ohio State's got some guys. They've got some dudes on that team. What scares you the most, or what kind? I don't want to say scares you the most, but what does Miami need to really focus on, or really need to pay attention to, that could give them a hard time against OSU? What's something that's on your mind?
There's a lot of things on my mind, but I think one of the things is making sure, and I guess this kind of falls into the don't fall behind category, but making sure to keep your composure during the course of this game. No false start penalties. If things get rough, try to, keep the ship steady. Don't get too nervous. Don't get too, down on yourself, because Ohio State has been in these types of games before, national championship games, playoff games, and stuff like that. So this is a group that is very experienced in this type of situation. Sure, the coaching staff has been in these games too, but this Miami program, this is the first really big game for many of these guys. So keeping your composure, I think, is going to be a key, factor for this group. And it's going to be really interesting to see if they face adversity if they crumble from it or if they, rise above it. Like, Jazz kind of mentioned them coming back after the Malachi Tony fumble and really asserting themselves and taking control of the game again. So I guess just keeping their composure and, making sure that they keep things steady, because if they don't, this is a game that could get out of hand quickly.
Real quick before we move forward, giving shout out to some of the people in the chat. Luck Buck, what's going on? Kenty, I see you, man. The ex-girlfriend thing is funny, man. Yeah, she should be, man. You can't date people from Columbus. What's the matter with you, bro? I like that. Dave Woodrow in the house, Fish fan, Miami. Yeah, I know. Mr. Overdose, what's going on, man? I saw the DJ Jacobs thing. We'll talk about that at another time. But yeah, I mean, maybe another reason why Mario needs to kick Ryan Day's ass in this game, right? Kind of moving forward, Vish, I wanted to, again, circle around back to you about this because we kind of mentioned it already. Matt Patricia, obviously an NFL caliber coach. Potentially, you can say he's the best defensive coordinator in college football, although maybe Corey Heatherman has something to say about that recently. But honestly, all right, a great scheme that he runs there. Is a very NFL-style defense that they run. They've got really good defensive line. They've got Arvell Reese back there, Sonny Styles at linebacker. They've got Caleb Downs, who's obviously a first round. They've got 3 or 4 first rounders there on that defensive side of the ball. And only average they've only averaged like 8 points per game that they've given up. I think the most they gave up was 16 this year. I know a lot of us can say, well, they didn't really play great teams, right? The best teams they played on their schedule was probably Texas in the first game of the season, and then they played Michigan and Indiana, right? So Michigan, they kind of we all know that they were kind of a dumpster fire at that point, and Indiana beat them. I know they only gave up 13 points to that Indiana team, but Indiana beat them. So there is ways to scheme against this defense to be able to be productive. What is your take on that? Ohio State defense, Vish. Are you concerned with the Canes and their offense and scoring, or is this different? Because look, I know a lot of people are looking at that game last week, and it was a tornado. It was a tornado, hurricane out there, literally, right? No pun intended. There was actually really gusty winds. It wasn't conducive to throwing the football around the whole field. And when they did, it looked like it was a slice from my golf game. So. Truth be told, this is going to be, I think, a different game offensively for the Hurricanes as well. Are you concerned with anything because of the Ohio State defense?
Well, yeah, I mean, their defense is the best in the country. So they're top 5 in rushing, passing, and scoring. So that's kind of all of the things you could do. So, yeah, no, they're nasty. And not just the coordinator. They have the players, obviously, as well. So that is, the Canes are going to have to adjust up. Obviously, I'm not worried about the wind being a factor this week. So given that the game's indoors, so I think it's going to be more. I think the Canes have to run the football. I think the one neutralizer they do have is this is going to be strength on strength, kind of like it was last game, which is the Canes' offensive line against a very good defensive line. The Canes won that battle last time. They need to win it again. I think that's the key to eclipsing those 16 points that I think it was Illinois got against Ohio State. Is if you run the ball, because a lot of these things, and this is the same thing for the Canes, by the way. If the defensive line is used to kind of getting pressure on their own, used to clogging up the running lanes on their own, and you're not having to commit linebackers and safeties up into the box to do that, which Ohio State has not had to do. It allows you to get creative with your back seven, do a lot of interesting things, and really, play safe while also being aggressive. But if you don't do that, if you have to start bringing people up in the box to account for the other team's offensive line, that's when you run into issues. And something's got to give there. It's either going to be It's either got to be one of these two teams, because the Canes' offensive line has won every battle they've been in this year too. So someone's going to get out of their comfort zone. And we can talk about all of the other players, but whoever wins that matchup in the trenches is going to take the other unit out of what they're used to doing. And so that's where I think it starts. And it needs to be a lot more Fletcher and a lot less, flanking Markel Bell out at wide receiver. Like, I didn't really like that formation. I don't want to see it again. But I think that's the key. If the Canes offensive line, and there are several first-round picks or potential first-round picks on this offensive line, can win up front, that opens the offense up. If they can't, and the Canes are sitting there 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, they're in trouble. So I think that's the key. In terms of Kenty's comment on the basically Urban Meyer said the Canes aren't going to be able to score, essentially. And Dawson kind of took him to task for it and said, well, Ohio State lost their last game scoring 10 points. Does he have a comment on that? And kind of went basically told him like he's not concerned. He said he's not concerned with the opinions of idiots. So and he's like, I don't care if I score 10 points. Spicy
Boston,
I don't care. He's basically said, I don't care if we score 10 points or 38 points. We need to score one more point than they have.
That's it. Facts.
Which I think is fair.
I'll tell you something though. If he runs 25 trick plays with Malachi Tony and Malachi gets stuffed in the backfield, then I'll start to be worried.
Nah, he won't do that.
We can't do that stuff like we did against Texas A&M.
So we do have a.
He'll do what he did against Texas A&M, but it was 2 or 3. I think people take it out of proportion. It wasn't that many. He used them a lot.
If the hole's there, you run through it. You don't run cute trick plays. Well, and it was there all day.
In terms of this
there's nothing.
Comment. No, they're absolutely on the same page. They're in lockstep. Dawson actually relies on Beck a lot for advice because he says the man's played a shitload of football, and so he's like it's having another coach on the field. He'll come to the sideline with adjustments that they make. So they're very much in it a lot. It is a kind of an underrated advantage of Canes having a quarterback that's played in this many high leverage games. He's actually the one who kind of pushed Dawson to make the adjustment turning the football against A&M. He came off the field after one of the missed field goals, like, we just need to run the ball.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Vish, because that was kind of where I was going next. And Blue and DJ, you guys can kind of share this here. But OSU's rush offense is 63rd in the country, and their passing offense is 23rd, right? So it's not like their offense is scoring 45, 50 points a game. They do have some great players there, right? Again, some first rounders in Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, freshman phenom in Bo Jackson, Julian Sand. Look, Julian Sand's numbers, they're the numbers that he has because, number one, strength of schedule wasn't great, and he has Smith and Tate and those guys running all over the field. Maybe, right? Maybe, sure. But he still has to get them the ball. And he's been able to do that. But there's an opportunity, right, to get to him, Blue. If there's anything that Miami has, I don't want to say if there's anything because it's just one of the many things, but I think that Miami has the numbers in the trenches on the offensive line and on the defensive line to be able to win this battle. But specifically our defensive line against their offensive line, I think there's a great opportunity to get to Julian Sane, who is a freshman quarterback, can make a mistake or two if you put enough pressure on him, if you start to screw around with him a little bit and throw guys at him from different directions. Now, the kicker to me, Blue, is if you can rush with 4 and get to him and really be able to shut down that passing attack, I think that's a recipe for a straight-up W there, Blue. What do you think about Julian Sane and that offense against our defensive line, and what do you think is the key to winning that battle there?
Well, word has it that our defensive coordinator had spent the whole weekend in the office by himself and no one else in there and just devising different schemes. I think he's a mad scientist when it comes to defense, but at the same time, he's not playing by himself. You've got people making counter moves, and that I think that's what this game comes down to. If it's a 10-10 type of game going to half or a 13-7 game going into the third quarter, it's going to be about chess, and you're going to have to counter moves, and you're going to have to continue playing this chess game all game long, because this guy's going to try this guy will be conservative, this guy will try that, this guy will try to counter that move. And I hope that that's what this game comes down to. I hope this game comes down to coaching. I really do, because I think that Miami's got those guys when on offense, when the Mario and Mirabal let our offensive coordinator be an offensive coordinator, he comes up with some pretty good things. And I think over the last 4 or 5 games of the year, it got people thinking. This wasn't the same offense that we ran tackle to tackle and never really tried anything remotely looking like a halfback pass or anything like that for much of the first 7-8 games of the season. So I think if anything, the last 4 or 5 games showed the opposition that Miami could be a little bit tricky, and Miami's not going to be plain vanilla and run tackle to tackle, although they did it against Texas A&M because Miami's offensive line was blowing Texas A&M's defense 5 yards back and giving somebody like a Fletcher some vision to get through those holes. He's not fast, but he's very instinctive. And if you get to that second level and the linebackers are pulled off to one side, he'll get those 10, 12, 14 yards like he has. And that's what Ohio State is going to have to adjust. I think Miami comes out and has to run the ball. And if they run the ball with success, it's going to be up to Ohio State to make those adjustments and fill the gaps where Texas A&M didn't on a lot of plays. And that's why he went for 170 yards. Now, Miami's got to come back, and Heatherman and, after the adjustments are made by the Ohio State defense, Miami's offense has to start getting creative. Okay, they're blocking this up, and we can't run very well up the middle. Let's open things up. Let's get Malachi outside. Let him be an integral part. Let's maybe throw to our tight ends, and let's see what happens. It works a couple of times against NC State. I think it's an adjustment game. I hope it stays close. I don't want Ohio State to take advantage of a fumble or get out 14 or 17-0, because that would be kind of take Miami way out of character. I want this game to be 7-7. I want it to be 10-7, 13-10, going into the second half, because then it's going to come down to coaching. And I think that Miami has that advantage of being in some of those close games. Let's face it, Ohio State was in one close game, and that was the last one, and they lost. Okay, so Miami's been in a few close games. And, yeah, they lost to SMU and they lost to Louisville. But they, even in that Louisville game, turning the ball over 4 times, you show me any team against anybody that turns the ball over 4 times is still into the damn game into the last play. So, yeah. So I personally hope that it's going to be one of those low-scoring games, close games going right into the fourth quarter, where coaching moves and adjustments are going to win this game.
Blue, once again, bringing up some great points on what it's going to take to be able to neutralize this defense. I think DJ, and I'll shoot it over to you. I think the biggest thing for me is you saw how Indiana's offense was, semi-successful. They lost Omar Cooper right early in that game as well, so they took away their number one receiver. But they were able to run the football between the tackles with their 2 big running backs, and were able to score just enough. And like Blue said, I think that winning those tight games is something Miami is good at and used to. And I think that the key to beating Ohio State's defense is not necessarily the Caden McDonald's and Aiden Curry. I think it's more about trying to neutralize Arvo Reese and Sonny Styles, right? Those are the guys that kind of make that defense go. And if you can figure out a way, as Blue said, right, to get the ball to the tight ends, get them out of plays a little bit, maybe get them to spread out a little bit and have to worry about. And look, the trick plays, whether they work or not, he's going to have to show some of them. and he's already shown it a little bit. So I know that the Ohio State's defensive coordinator is going to have to account for that, and that's just an extra thing that he has to account for. So to me, the biggest thing is to neutralize Reese and Styles, and kind of be able to push the ball down the field methodically, wear them down, and that's how you get them in those fourth quarter games where you can kind of rest on and sit on your offensive line and win this football game ugly that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, I think for me, one of the big things is maybe not necessarily push the ball down the field, but just forward progress, 2 yards here, 5 yards here, 3 yards here. Just take what the defense is giving you, because they're not going to give you a whole heck of a lot, but there will be opportunities where you can get some yards on that defense. And, the only thing, and the reason why I say not to push the ball down the field is because I don't want to turn this into a all or nothing type of game where Carson Beck feels like he has to push it down the field and stuff and make the big play, because that's a situation where sometimes I feel like he gets himself into a little bit of trouble, especially with the interceptions. What I would rather see him do is kind of what he's been doing over the last couple of weeks, right? Take what the defense gives him and kind of, get the ball out quick, neutralize the pass rushers like you mentioned, and, kind of let the game come to him and just make smart decisions, because the way you can beat that defense is to just wear them down and, keep the chains moving forward. So, I mean, you talk about neutralizing their great pass rushers, and rightly so, but also I think just, making sure their defense is, constantly moving, not getting off the field quick, long drives. Maybe, if there is an explosive play and a guy like Malachi Tony is open, by all means take it. But I'd rather kind of see them grind this game out and keep moving forward, keep the chains moving forward, keep the ball moving forward, and, not necessarily go for the big plays unless they are really there.
Yeah, I think eventually you're going to have to take some shots. Yeah. But like you mentioned,
one of the things that happened, DJ mentioned kind of, methodically moving the ball down the field, which I agree is likely what we're going to see them attempt to. One of the things that happened against A&M, independent of the wind issues, is the screen, the wide receiver screen game, which has been very effective for the Canes this year, did not work at all.
Yeah.
The A&M, as good as, and the Canes receivers were excellent in run blocking on the edges on those screens. They were not holding up, and they were not moving the A&M DBs out of the way to have those plays open up. There was the second play of the first half, they got it out to Marion. Of the second half, they got it to Marion, and he made a lot of yards on that. But the Canes need to hold those blocks. And as Kenty mentioned, and actually DJ and I talked about this on our Sunday show.
Yeah.
Against Indiana, Ohio State is very good at breaking those up. And against Indiana, actually, their touchdown came off an interception of a screen pass. So that's obviously a huge part of the Canes' game plan. They're not going to not do it. It is really important those receivers hold those blocks up. And have
they need to dress it up, I think, a little different, right? Because as Kenty mentioned, they do a good job of breaking these up. So did Texas A&M. I think Dawson needs to learn from that and kind of adjust how he.
Well, I think there's a difference in that. Against A&M, the Canes just couldn't get the push they're used to getting with their receivers. Ohio State is much more aggressive in attacking that. Like I said, they intercepted one against Indiana. They've been very good all year at kind of getting their hands on those. So it's more so forget the downfield blocking, like run after the catch. Let's actually get the ball to the receiver. So to your point, Jazz, they are going to have to disguise it, maybe do it a little bit differently. But it's a huge part of the game that just did not work against A&M. That was not as much as, and Blue's right, like I was there, the wind would basically meant anything that was more than like 5 feet off the ground started fluttering around. And so you really couldn't do a lot of throwing. The screen game should have still worked, and it was not effective.
And I think, Vish, you brought up something yesterday, but also, I was just looking into it more today. Ohio State is very good at swarming to the football. And I believe you said yesterday that Miami statistically was one of the worst tackling teams in the country. They just do a very good job of swarming. So I'll be interested to see if on a play, like on a receiver screen, how Ohio State swarms to the football, and when Miami's, on defense, if they can kind of bring that same mentality too, because both teams have heavy hitters that can come down and make a play. I think it's going to come down to not just one tackler, but whether the whole team can come down and kind of get the ball carrier. Because again, both these teams are very good at doing that, but it's just something to think about as we head into the game.
By the way, I love that we got some Ohio State fans, some Buckeye fans here in the chat. Tyler and Dave. And Dave is kind of giving us like the whole breakdown on how to beat Ohio State. I don't know if I'm buying it, Dave. All right, I'm still showing you love, man, because I appreciate you coming around here and watching the show.
I'll say this: I am way too. Dawson,
Honestly,
today he said he doesn't listen to idiots. I think he was specifically talking about us, so he's not watching the show. So,
honestly, having watched a lot of Big Ten football, Dave is absolutely right.
Yeah, no,
He is right. If there is one area,
I don't want to hear it, Dave. Stop. La 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 la.
Well, he's talking directly to DJ about the tight end.
We got to use the tight ends, Shannon Dawson. If you're listening, we have to use the tight ends.
Oh man. Well, so Pip down. I saw Pip down earlier here too. So, yeah. Look, I think at the end of the day, everybody here pretty much has a spot on. And Blue, you kind of said it right. I think it's gonna be a knockdown, 15-round, just punch after punch, counter punch, and see who has the strongest chin at the end of the day, right? So I think this is gonna now as the same way Blue mentions, if you get down 17-0, 14-0, it's gonna be hard to get back. I think the opposite applies as well. I think if Miami gets up, they have kind of learned their lesson. If you ask me, you got to keep the foot on the gas and you got to pin your ears back and keep kicking your ass, right? You can't give them a semblance of hope. You let them do a little bit of that at FSU. You let them do a little bit of that in some other games, and you saw that it got stupid for a while there. I think if Miami can kind of get a little bit of a lead, they need to continue to play the way they were playing, right? They can't just kind of sit back and
I don't know. It's one thing to throw touchdowns against NC State and Pitt, and a whole different thing if you're sitting there, let's say up 2 scores in the third quarter with the ball to say keep
not lose.
Well, I don't think it's even Mario. I think it's Dawson. I think it's. I know we were talking about a bunch of games the Canes ended up winning.
Yeah.
So as much as we're being critical, like working the clock when you have a 2-score lead is not. I know we interpret it as they shut it down and they just got conservative, but I'm looking at the weapons Ohio State has on offense. And I'm thinking if we can take 1 or 2 possessions away from them by working the clock, to me that's not a dumb idea. And I have a feeling Dawson and Mario would be on the same page there in terms of if we start working not in the first half, but I guess the third quarter and into the second half, and you've got a multiple score lead, working that clock is as important as scoring. Obviously, we can throw a touchdown every play, you just do it and blow them out. But you're not. I mean, this is a really good team. That type of stuff's not happening. So, the last thing you want to do is in a situation where you have a lead is to then, get too aggressive and start, turn the ball over or something.
Yeah.
Or even throw 3 incompletions and punt and take 30 seconds off the clock. Anything you can do to shorten the amount of chances Jeremiah Smith has to catch the ball is a good thing. So
not only Jeremiah Smith, but Carnell Tate as well.
Yeah.
And Brandon Innes, who's
I don't want to mention him, but him too, Brandon.
No,
he's a punt returner and he can go.
Yeah, they have playmakers. So I don't think it's. I will say it's different when you do it against UF when DJ Lagway couldn't complete a pass. It's you didn't really have a threat there. This is not that team. So I can see it. I don't think it's a bad idea to, if you build a lead to say, all right, let's see if we can work some clock and grind out some first downs here and go on a 5-minute drive and kick a field goal. I think again, against FSU, I think it was more the defense going into prevent way too early and just allowing Castellanos, who couldn't complete a pass most of the game, to just check down all the way down the field for touchdown.
Now he's declaring for the NFL draft, so put some respect on his name, Vish.
Those future
Who did? Who?
Castellanos.
Castellanos.
Oh, Castellanos. Because I was going to say,
yeah. So I think I think you got to play
the University of Texas, San Antonio.
I think you have to play your opponent. Ohio State's so dangerous that shortening possessions, if you have a lead.
Yeah.
Now, if you're behind, you want to do the opposite. You want to speed up and lengthen the game. But if you're up, if somehow the Canes find themselves up multiple scores, I would be fine with them grinding this thing out and make sure the clock keeps running.
Luckbug mentions here both Dawson and Heatherman looked exhausted. Listen, every single coach in America that's still playing right now for something is absolutely exhausted. I guarantee you that. They're all gray-haired, bagged eyes. All of them are like that, man. And it's true.
Coffee stains all over the place, and
maybe Mario keeps wearing the same shirt, so I don't know.
Yeah, I like, but he
likes that shirt, man.
I
like
that's
that
the
shirt
battle shirt. Those were the fatigue uniform.
Don't mention that name. Don't say that.
He likes that look.
He definitely likes that shirt. He's been wearing it everywhere.
Blue, got a question for you.
He has got like 9 of them, but
yeah.
It's not like me wearing the same shirt,
Blue, question for you from Luckbug. Blue, what are things both teams will stick to as far as tendencies and counters?
Well, that's like I said, that becomes part of the adjustment game for the coaching. And I think Miami wants to run the ball and power, run tackle to tackle. I was a little surprised against A&M that they didn't use Pringle as a change of pace, but you got to go with what's hot, and that's what I think what's going to happen. And they've got a couple of backs where they can get, it's not like they only have one back, and we didn't see Brown much at all either. So if Miami gets into that lead and they can power the football, I think that's going to be important.
One more question. This will be for the floor for everybody. Who are some of the biggest X factors for Miami? Vish, we'll start with you. Give me one name. It could be an X factor for the Canes.
So I'm gonna go with Keelan Marion. We have still not seen.
That's what I.
He is. I mean, he's been actually a pleasant surprise at receiver. He's been excellent as route running, as blocking, but he was actually brought in as a special teams player in a game changer. We have not seen that explosion there. I think if he can get a big return, again, most kickoffs end up as touchbacks, but if he can get a big return, that could be potentially huge. He's been close a few times this year, but he has not kind of been able to break free like he did routinely at BYU. So I'm looking at him in terms, because obviously like Malachi Tony, everyone's going to be keying on him. Everyone knows Mark Fletcher now, although I feel like before the A&M game, no one you could mention 10 players and his name wouldn't come up, but now he's like number one on the call sheet. But I think Keelan Marion is someone that could potentially make a game-changing play.
What about you, DJ? Who's your X factor? Give me one name for the Canes.
Oh, my X factor. Damn. This is hard. Okay, so I'm gonna.
It doesn't have to be offense. It could be defense also. So
okay. Bryce Fitzgerald.
Yeah, second in the nation in interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a nose for the football, and saying when pressured doesn't make the best decisions. You can get to his head pretty easy if you give him things to think about and kind of get him off balance. So I expect Fitzgerald to maybe take advantage of that and go back to his ball hawking ways.
I like it. What about you, Blue?
So
Alex Bauman. I think he catches 5 balls out of the backfield, into the slot, out of tight end. He showed a propensity to get open a lot during the season, even in the flat. I'll take it. I think that he becomes a valve that Ohio State's really not concentrating on. See, Miami's played possum with so many good players that Jacoby Thomas is an easy answer though. That's somebody you expect that is going to come up. But I think that Miami really on the offense has played possum with the Elijah Arroyos and people like that to the point where Ohio State, they ain't throwing to him. Let's leave him alone. So maybe Alex Bauman could be the guy.
I was gonna say the tight ends, but I'm gonna have to go somewhere
Well,
else.
you can go to Elijah.
I was just gonna say the tight
Were
ends.
you really?
I
Well, I
think
was
the
going
tight
to say
ends need to have
Keelan
a big-
Marriott. So there you go.
I do think the tight ends could have a big game in this one, and that would be a great X factor. But I'm gonna go with you, DJ. I'll stick to defense. These two went on offense. We'll go on defense. All right. I'm gonna say whoever it is that's covering Jeremiah Smith, whether it's OJ Frederick or Xavier Lucas on the outside. I know Damari Brown is out for the game, so it's got to be one of those two guys or Ethan O'Connor.
That's a good listen. I think
Whoever can kind of. You're not going to be able to stop the man, right? Let's just be honest.
No.
But if you can neutralize him a little bit,
limit the pass interferences.
You know what I heard? So I heard someone say the other day, Blue.
Break his leg.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You got to see them a lot in high school, and obviously it's just an interesting thing that I heard. But I heard that the player that was able to lock down Jeremiah Smith the best was JoJo Trader.
Yeah, well,
that
JoJo barely gets in on offense. They ain't sticking him in on defense.
Yeah, they're not going to stick him in, but I heard he is
not in the biggest game of the.
Yeah, they won't do it now, but I heard he's elite at the cornerback position as well. And hey, listen, if it doesn't work out on a wide receiver, maybe there's an opportunity for him to move over there next year. But
well, that's it. Listen, I had my buddy is watching tonight, and he just texted me. He said a guy that a lot of people never talk about, but he's the leading tackler on the Miami Hurricane football team, Mohamed Toure.
Had the best game of his season.
Leading tackler on Miami. Go look statistically.
Yeah.
He's the leading tackler.
I believe it.
Well, he's another one everyone knows now because he knocked himself out to make sure that A&M didn't catch the touchdown there. So he sacrificed for the team there.
I'll tell you what, if Corey Heatherman ever brought in somebody that he knew about, that's the guy right there. And I'll tell you, you look at the statistics, and that son of a that's a good point back.
I mean, the quarterback, I don't think you can go quarterback as an X factor. I think we're expecting.
You know what? JoJo Trader is another good X factor, right? Imagine he can kind of get it rolling because obviously we know.
I mean, we send him on a deep route once or twice a game.
If he catches one of them, I'm good. Maybe it's a 50-60 yard.
He caught one against SMU, and then we got greedy and went to him again, and he passed it back to SMU and kind of turned that game around the other way. So.
There's no tricks going to be left in any bags. I can tell you that.
They're going to let it all ride out. They're going to let it all hang out. So
huge game for both the Scotts. Yeah, Justin Scott as well has been just coming on so strong in the back half of the year.
At this point, we can name everybody, right? But yeah,
and I'll say this to David Everett's point: the officiating against A&M, I believe they were Big 12 officials, but was excellent.
Yeah,
we got the benefit of one call. They missed a pretty egregious late hit on us out of bounds. That was like way out of bounds, and we kind of threw him down to like a bump. But you could tell they weren't ACC refs because they were competent. So hopefully. We just get a good crew out there.
Probably get Big 12 again.
Well, at least they can't be from our. The good thing about this postseason, they can't be from our conference.
Or their conference.
So we're not going to get the worst of the worst.
It'll be Big 12 most likely, I would imagine.
Or SEC. But we will not get ACC officials ever in the postseason. So that's a good.
Oh,
thing.
You're right. That's right. SEC might be.
Yeah, but at least they can't be from our conference, which is always nice. So, because I think the standard of officiating in the ACC is important. And actually, the whole thing where they broadcast the replay, you can kind of confirm how stupid they are now. Because they're talking about it on replay, looking at replays, and like, you see here this, it's like, that's not anywhere. What are you looking at? So I don't think the officials will be a factor, to be honest. I think generally in these playoff games, they want to let the teams play, so I wouldn't expect a lot of penalties. Now, if we do the pre-snap stuff, which we're prone to doing, like if David Blade jumps off sides, obviously they're going to call it.
You got to account for at least one of those games, Wish. Come on.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like calling ticky-tack pass interference, I think it'll need to be the real like pull of the jersey type of thing and not like kind of hand fighting stuff that they generally don't want to get involved in these types of games unless it's, overtime and they threw an incompletion on fourth down, then they come firing the flag in after the Tostitos have been opened and spilled all over the place. But that's not bringing up
Kenty mentioned the name that is not to be said. We don't mind.
I was sitting in that corner of the end zone, right in front of me. That
Don't
happened.
say that name. I can't believe that guy's in the Hall of Fame of refereeing. It's unbelievable to me. Blows my mind. Anyways, let's get to it, Vish. Let's talk about it.
Well, real quick, speaking of Hall of Fames, our man Larry Bluestein is being
That's what I'm
inducted
talking
into the
about.
Florida
Let's get
Coaches
to it.
Hall of Fame. There we go. So congrats to Larry for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well-deserved honor.
Thank you.
We're very proud of him, of course. Congrats, Blue.
You know, we're very
Blue is very shy, so he does not like when we call attention to his accolades. But this one is
we're very lucky.
It's a high honor and well deserved for Blue. So congrats to him.
We're blessed to have the GOAT with us here every Monday night, man. So
Thank you for putting up with us.
Thank you, Blue. Thank you for everything, man. You're the man.
I appreciate you guys as always, and I want to pick last when we do the.
All right, so I'll go
first. Gets to choose the order. So
all right, I'll go first.
Go
I'm gonna go 23-17 Hurricanes. 23-17. A late touchdown by Ohio State puts them down by 6. They try the onside kick and we recover and game over. Let's go. See you later. Off to the Fiesta Bowl. What do you got? We'll go with you, Vish. What do you got?
I've got the Canes 24-16.
24-16. All right. What do you got, DJ?
27-17 Ohio State.
You got Ohio State winning?
Yep.
No, you suck.
Wow.
What else is new? Tell me something I don't know, Jazz.
Look, man, you got a Big Ten homer on the show. What do you think that's going to happen? He dared to pick the 9.5-point favorite to win the game. How could he?
Hey, the Big Ten is making me money, so
you took the points and
why not?
You scumbag.
We got our commenters are more optimistic than DJ.
Yeah, good. Thank God. Blue, what do you got?
Last drive, 17-13, Ohio State moving in. They get a questionable call to put them down to around the 8 or 10. Remember, they can't kick a field goal. On 4th down with 1 second left, they throw to the end zone. Questionable call. Could have been pass interference, but no. Miami wins the ball game 17-13.
Let's go. Listen, if we lose on another questionable call,
it'll be their questionable call.
Yeah.
And Ohio State fans will bitch for 23 years till we face them again.
Good. I hope they bitch.
Just like we did. They're gonna emulate us.
Pay back some mother. All right.
Well, I mean, look, I don't want to win that way. I mean, I'll take any kind of win.
I'll take it. However,
I'll take a questionable call where they huddle in the end zone.
I will take an officiating assistance win over a loss, but I'd rather just win the game.
And the play happens at 11:58, and they get together for 4 minutes. We go into a new year and we win it in the new year. Jesus, the hell is Stephen King? I'll write the goddamn scripts.
That would be a 5.5 hour game.
I love it. Oh man! All right, Blue.
Or 4.5.
Let's go.
Show and tell that I had to go to my wall and take it off my wall, but.
Give me some technology, Vish. There it is. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
87.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how we end the show. Let's go, man. Let's go. I love it. It doesn't need. You don't even have to explain.
I knew you'd like that. Now I got to go put it back on the wall.
We appreciate it. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the after show, I guess. The after show with Vish.
Yeah, DJ and I are working out when we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out time on the first. We're both available. DJ's not free in the afternoon, and I'm flying in the morning. So
yeah, keep it locked.
Maybe a night show.
Yeah, there will be a show at some point talking about this fantastic victory with me just berating DJ for not having the faith.
In other words, just another Sunday show.
Vish, you know you're going to be on the phone with me at some point also, and I'm going to be saying a lot of swear words and good or bad.
Either way, there will be swearing. You can guarantee that.
For sure.
I'm sure Jazz will have a few of his cold beverages going. And
I got the fireball set up. You know, Vish. You know how we do.
Jesus.
We got the fireball set up already, baby. Ready to go.
Boy, he won't even remember my scenario. Believe me.
I was gonna say. Fireball, no chance. Ugh.
Oh man, you guys don't know what you're missing, man. It's the official.
Oh, I know what I'm missing. I've
official shots of the Miami Hurricanes.
You
man.
missed the first week of the New Year is what you'll miss.
I'll wake up in 2026, 2027 already. Unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Anyways, thanks for watching us, guys. That's the Six Ring King Show. Mondays at
Happy
8:30
New Year.
Yeah,
Follow
Happy New
us
Year,
at
guys.
Six Ring
Yeah, Happy
Kings
New
on
Year.
X. Subscribe to the 5 Reasons Kings podcast on Apple Podcasts. Just go to the 5 Reasons Kings, 5 Reasons Sports Network. Subscribe there. You can watch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is you get your podcasts. You can listen to it there. Watch us on YouTube, and also all the other great content that we provide you for the Miami Hurricane sports, such as Buckets, women's sports, and men's. Women's.
Parrish, we're kind of busy Wednesday night. Just
Yeah.
throwing it out
Oh,
there.
no.
So yeah, there's not going to be a Buckets on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There should be one at some point.
Baseball's coming soon.
Week.
We got a lot of things
Yeah,
going
Kings
on with
deck,
baseball.
yeah.
Kings on deck, but
The
right
radio
now,
shows
And
next
then, and then
week. We had a
Blue,
tape-
Blue. What?
We
what
had
are
a
you on the
tape
radio?
this week. We had a tape this week because the Hurricane game. So it's a best of Friday, but next Monday we'll be in live from New York. We'll be on next week. So from 7 to 9, and hopefully we'll have some good stuff to talk about. We'll have a good Hurricane guest as we do. Win, lose, or draw, we're going to have a Hurricane reporter on, and had David Lake on last week, who was great from Inside to You, and we talked about the A&M game. But, yes, we'll be back on Monday, and we'll have a really, really good show. So we're excited about Friday. Gosh, I can't believe this damn game's in two nights. 2 nights.
Yeah.
crazy.
Remember, they used to fly in the bowl teams a week before. Now it's just like 3-4 days before.
Yep, that's it.
And yet the championship game is like the third Monday in January. So.
19th.
Yep,
Yeah.
right here.
Right here in the Orange Bowl.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you guys. Cheers to New Year. Stay blessed and go Kings. Yes, sir. Happy New Year to everybody. Stay safe out there, please. Watch yourselves. If you're going to the game, do it safely as well. Don't do anything crazy. Go cheer on the Kings. And cheers to a victory. Yes, here's to a win. Let's go out there. Let's get some vengeance back. Let's come back home with a W. And on to the Fiesta Bowl, baby. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And let's go kick some Buckeye ass. It's all about the Canes. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Go Canes.
The 6 Ring King Show. Yeah. The 6 Ring King Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings King Show.